So regarding Trump, I've only seen one new thing come out of this list. A lot of the old stuff where he praised Epstein as being a lot of fun. He seemed to know that he was a pedophile. He said he really likes women as much as I do. He likes them on the younger side. That's old news. Weird that it's not part of our like cultural knowledge, but that's old news. The only new thing is, I guess there was a flight with some underage girls on it, and they were like leaving because of bad weather, and they're like, you know what, let's go to Trump's casino. So they called Trump and they went to his place. That's not that incriminating. I mean, he owns a destination, right? Like casino.
They're not allowed in the ID every step of the way. You know, they're not going to hit the slots. They're going to get their slots hit.
Oh, that's a sick line. All right.
So quick with those, don't you?
Yeah, that was outstanding.
And I'm hot.
But just by
grade me on a curve.
It's a hotel casino. If people don't know, Trump, these are hotel casinos, and that's where they went as a destination. Landed Lolita Express there, and hung out at Trump's hotel. It's not a good look, but it's not really a smoking gun either, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think we're getting a real, like, whatever Epstein list. Like, what? I think all the real stuff's been curated. The evidence has been destroyed. There's a reason it took years, and now it's just going to be more of the same.
There's a thing.
It'll be a few people that come out, and it'll be like, oh, wow, Bill Clinton and Alan Dershowitz are on it. People have been saying that for years now. Like, there's not going to be a huge, big bomb of it, I don't think.
The Dershowitz thing is interesting because he's the most incriminating new information that I'm aware of. They literally, they're like, underage girl gave him a massage, fucked him. And Dershowitz is like, yeah, she later said she wasn't sure it was me. So, like, I'm kind of innocent. I'm like, I don't know about that.
Yeah, bullshit.
Sounds like she got some pressure.
That guy seems skeevy as shit.
I thought it was hysterical that David Copperfield's name was on the list a couple times, and that Stephen Hawking was, because like that mathematician should be able to know if girls underage. You would think. I saw pictures of him. I don't know if they're shopped. They usually are, but you know, it's him sitting there all decrepit on like a chair by a pool, like laid out. And I'd never seen him lay him out like that. They usually keep him in that little thing, and he had like a couple girls with him who looked. I didn't think they looked underage, but they didn't look old. Yeah.
He was never doing physics. It was all age of consent.
Did his dick work? You think his dick still worked? Like,
there's no way his dick worked well if it did. But him being on the island, that tells me something was working down there.
You'd guess, right?
Some kind of exoskeleton.
Or I know he was like kind of a saucy, spicy guy. Like he liked his porn a lot. So I don't know if he's jerking off or just appreciating the female form.
Zach, do a little Googling. Find out if Stephen Hawking's cock still worked.
Yeah, I would love. Yeah, Zach, please look into that. See if you can figure it out.
Is he capable of defiling a young maiden? That's all I need to know.
So there was something. There's some connections that make Trump look bad. Like so you guys might remember Epstein got busted and got a real sweetheart deal and basically got set off free for nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And then he got busted again, at which point he eventually killed himself in prison. Or died in prison, whatever.
Yeah, I think
so. The first sweetheart deal, it seemed like he got that because he was so well connected, and the guy who gave him that sweetheart deal, the prosecutor, became Trump's labor secretary. Like, so a lot of people are like, "Man, this guy's really tied in," and Trump hooked him up with the sweetheart job after he got Epstein off when Trump could have been in hot water. But this is all a little. I feel like Alex Jones here, right? I usually demand better evidence than this.
No, Epstein was very connected. Like he had. Little inroads everywhere. He was running a honeypot to basically.
But the guy that gave Epstein his sweetheart deal became Trump's labor secretary. And I asked myself, Woody, would you convict a guy you like? You know, if you had evidence that flimsy, and I'm not sure I would. So I'm trying to be honest.
I heard. I was watching that podcast with the CIA guy, John Kirikow or something like that. He's written a book about it. Anyway. They asked him, and this is recently, this is like a week or so ago, a month or two ago, when the Palestinian thing first kicked off, they asked him about Epstein and also about the Palestinian thing. And he thought that Epstein was a Mossad agent because Ghislaine Maxwell's father was a known Mossad agent, like a famous
Robert
Mossad
Maxwell
agent. So the idea is that it's what Taylor said. It's a place where he's clearly bringing influencers and powerful people from all over the world, not only for the purposes of maybe running video and audio for maybe pressure to put on them. But also, he said that Mossad it would be very valuable for an intelligence agency just to be able to get amongst those people and like get them in a room and talk to them. Maybe not about like, you fucked a boy, we've got it on tape, now your company does this. Maybe just like, you do a lot of business in the Middle East. You know, you rub elbows with the sheik all the time. Could you put in a good word to the sheik about my friend Alan? Alan needs a meeting with him. Mr. Dershowitz, could you come in here? Alan wants to meet the sheik, and it's a bad look to do so publicly, but you know the sheik. And the idea of an intelligence agency being able to pull strings and put people together and manipulate and just get that information. They talked about how the CIA has this program where they're not allowed to work in certain places, certainly on American soil, supposedly, but also in certain places around the world, it's tricky to get in. There's no way you can send some Mormon white guy over there and have him get, but we have businessmen here who do business there. So those white men with suits walk right in there with the sheik, and the sheik pats him on the back because we're all in cahoots together, like doing legitimate business. And so the CIA recruits people like that. He suggested that as much as it might be a blackmail thing, although he didn't like the idea of blackmail, and this is a guy who blackmails people for a living, he's like, 9 times out of 10, they kill themselves, you know? Or that he said they'll either rat themselves out to their own people because, you know, they're not going to deal with the filthy American, or they'll kill themselves. You know, he said that's what usually happens. They asked him about Epstein, and he said he didn't think Epstein did.
I think that blackmail had a good deal to do with it.
Sure. I just want to get this in here. Zach looked it up. Apparently, Stephen Hawking's dick got hard and worked.
That dog.
That
investigative journalism at its
monster. Yes. that monster. He was using his crippled penis on all those poor victims.
Yeah, I guess he probably needed a guy to help him get laid.
I mean, he just
really